moving along to the next step, need to make up some gaskets. So I got some, I don't recall if this was 3/8 or 1/2 inch high temperature stove rope. We've got a box of just generic cellophane, good pair of scissors, plenty of gloves. We're gonna need some high temperature silicone. I ended up using Permatex Red. It's rated for 650 degrees. And I used about 3/4 of the can on this project. And a very nice and heavy duty Ziploc bag. So all we're gonna do, take our stove rope, whatever size we want it, for whatever gasket opening we're gonna make, cut it to length. We're gonna throw it in the bag and fill it up with the silicone. It's gonna take actually way more than you think it's going to. Like I said, between 2 gaskets, about 5 feet of stove rope, I use, well, this is a 7-ounce can, and yeah, there's maybe a quarter and maybe a little bit less left. Take our stove rope, put it in the bag, fill it up, seal it up with as little air as you can, and you're just gonna knead the bag. You're gonna work that silicone until it's impregnated into the stove rope. What you're gonna end up with, something along these lines. This is after I worked it, got it really caked into there real good, and it's nice and tacky, and I've laid it out on the gasket surface where I want it to stay. This side, we're on bare steel. That's critical, because when we go to bolt this thing down, your silicone is gonna wanna cure to the steel, but we don't want it to cure onto the opposite surface. That's where the cellophane's gonna come in. We're gonna take the cellophane, we're gonna wrap it into the opening. That way the silicone does not cure down to that surface. And the gasket, whenever you have to pull this lid off, is gonna stay with the lid instead of getting stuck down. And you can see, got it all wrapped on there. Try not to make a gigantic mess of myself, because I already have red silicone on everything in the shop. Doing this method is kind of like working with anti-seize. You end up with it everywhere. Press it down in place. I'm gonna take my lock bar. You can see it walking around as I tighten. That silicone's got a slippery surface on it. Just like that. A nice even squeeze. A little bit of silicone getting pushed out of the gasket all the way around, so we know that we got plenty of it stuck into that stove rope. Now we're going to let it sit for 2 days. Let all of that silicone cure, harden up. It'll be stuck onto our gasket surface, and then these will be serviceable lids. And before we put it into service, we'll go ahead and grease the surface so that the silicone doesn't get a chance to try to bake onto that base steel. Instead, it's got the grease right here that'll keep it from sticking. And now we're a couple days later, giving the silicone a chance to cure. Just anywhere that you have the silicone folded over and it may have grabbed a hold of the silicone, pull it out nice and slow. And here's our top. We've already peeled off the bottom. See how that one's nice and flattened out. Silicone was in the rope really nicely. Now I'm going to leave this open air, cure for probably another day. And then all we have to do is grease the surface and get her all bolted in.